Hello students, let us study about this coordinate geometry. Today I will give you the introduction about this coordinate geometry. Why we have to study this coordinate geometry, what are the applications, in 10th standard why they are kept here, this chapter, and those things we shall discuss today. This actually coordinate geometry is very wider application in our daily life. The meaning of this coordinate geometry is it is a branch of geometry where the position of the point on the plane is defined with the help of an ordered pair of numbers. They are known as coordinates. So you may draw the graph in your previous classes, no? Draw a graph. What are there in the graph? The horizontal and vertical lines, which makes small squares. In each 1 centimeter square there are any again 10 1 millimeter squares are there. Those are taken as one unit, no? By taking that you are going to plot the graphs by drawing two perpendicular lines, which are also they will play a very important role in the coordinate geometry and also in our daily life here. In coordinate geometry, we define the coordinates of a point in a plane with reference to two mutually perpendicular lines in the same plane. It also includes plotting of points in the plane, which is used to draw the graphs of linear equations and other equations in Cartesian plane. So, the person who invented is René Descartes, a French mathematician, basically a philosopher. He joined algebra and geometry, creating with the Cartesian plane. It is also called as Cartesian plane. A system of geometry where the position of a point in a plane described using an ordered pair of numbers is the coordinate geometry. That ordered pair of numbers you see that x ordinate and y ordinate. Now I will discuss. The method of describing the location of points in this way was proposed by the French mathematician, this René Descartes. He proposed further the curves and lines could be described by equations using this technique. Not only straight lines are the equations of this linear or quadratic or cubic equations can be drawn. Even we can also draw these curved lines like circles, parabola, hyperbola. They can also be represented on the graph. Okay, in honor of his work, the coordinates of the point are often referred to as Cartesian coordinates. Just because of him only, we are going to call those points as Cartesian coordinates and the plane as Cartesian plane. Okay, so you may seen in this Google location how it detects, just because it will use the technique of this coordinate geometry, the Google map location, where you are located. So even we are going to use this coordinate geometry to represent or to locate the point or locate the places geographically on the globe. For example, and also it has some wider application in our daily life. You see, this coordinate geometry can be applicable for locating points and finding the distance between 2 points. In astrophysics, to find the distance between the planets, coordinate geometry helps. Also in geography, it can also have many applications. For everyday activities such as reading street directions and locating traffic signals, traffic points here, for monitoring the traffic flow, Coordinates provide an accurate method for indicating the position, for finding distances between the places. For example, Bangalore to Kolkata. How we are going to find what is the distance between those two places? The coordinate geometry will help us. For example, you see in the globe, we can see the longitudes and attitudes. No, you can refer this figure here, where equator and the meridians are drawn on the globe. I think you may see in that that represents somewhat graph. You can see the graph sheet on the globe. So actually they are used to represent the coordinates of these places here, of different places. We can identify by using the degrees in degrees or no degrees and radians. We can represent the location of places here. For example, you see the location of this Kolkata is 22.6 degree north and 88.4 degree east is the Kolkata's meridian, or that location of that point. Those two points are together called as coordinates here. That 22.6 degree north represent the x ordinate, 88.4 degree east represent the y ordinate. Instead of that, we are also called as somewhat abscissa and ordinate simply. X coordinate is called as abscissa and y coordinate is called as the ordinate simply. Now similarly, the Bangalore's point location is 13 degree north and 77.5 degree east. How to find the distance between this Kolkata to Bangalore? You can see we can calculate using this coordinate geometry. So here we are going to choose the definite scale or definite distance. I cannot find I cannot write so many kilometers in the graph sheet. No, that's why we are going to use each division as one scale factor. For example, here we are going to take 1 degree apart is to be taken as 110 kilometers. Definite scale we are going to choose. By using the definite that is a scale, we are going to find the distance between the 2 points in the graph. Also, this coordinate system of geometry useful to describe the correct location and shape of the features required for the coordinate framework for defining real world locations, longitudes and latitudes in the geography. You can see now. A global coordinate system of latitude and longitude is one such framework. They are measured of the angles in degrees from the center of the earth to a point on the earth's surface, whichever it is. You may also see how to that gravity, no, earth's gravity will increases when we move from the equator to polar region. At the poles it is a zero. At the equator it is maximum. We can say, no, like that. This type of coordinate reference system often referred to as a geographical coordinate system. In this Cartesian system, in the geographical coordinate system differs. That means here we are in geography, we are going to take the coordinates as degrees in degrees. Okay, in Cartesian plane we are going to take them as some points here. And in military services also, the coordinate system of geometry will plays an important role in the military services. For each target, there are coordinates to determine the precise position of them. For example, A soldier wants to exploit some target of enemy, so he must know the exact position of the target. If you know the position with coordinates, then it is very easy to exploit or wipe out the target of enemy by warship or others. But it is very important to that they have to know exact coordinates, as we seen in the pola, that is geographical coordinates, no, because if it is not calibrated correctly, it will give rise to untoward result. That means it will be missed. Even you may see the missiles now, how they are going to, the scientists targeted the correct location or correct distance to drop the missiles or something else, is it? And also this launching of satellites, and also launching of these rockets. They have to locate the correct position of the moon or the required planet, distance and all those everything they have to calibrate correctly. Then only that rocket will reach that particular place, otherwise it will be missed. That's why so many circumstances the rockets will be collapsed, or they may lose their location. The scientists cannot locate or find the launched satellite for the particular places, just because of this locating the coordinates. This will give to the ability to precisely define the position of object in the space and time. Not only in two-dimensional aspect we are going to use this coordinate geometry. It is also helpful for all the dimension. For example, one direction to find the length, two dimension to find the area, three dimension we are going to use this coordinate system of geometry to find the volume, and also in the four dimension. That means, what are the four dimensions? One dimension is the length, two dimension is the length and breadth, three dimension means length, breadth and height. What about the one more dimension is the time. In your higher study you are going to study about four-dimensional space. That means length, breadth, width as well as time. Time also one of the dimension in the Cartesian four-dimensional Cartesian frame of reference. Frame of reference you are going to study in the higher studies. So for example, let me give one idea of the time and space. Space is three dimension, of course, as you see here. Time, space and time. For example, you hear the sound of thunder, sound of, that is you are seeing the lightning. After only you are going to hear the noise of thunder, a blast of thunder, in that at the time of rain, is it not? Just because the velocity of light is more than that of the velocity of sound, after collision you can hear after somewhat length of the time, no, after some time. Just because of that, to calculate the velocity of sound and light, here that fourth dimension can be used here. Time is also one of the dimension. In the study of this astronomy, we are going to use this four-dimensional frame of reference or coordinate system of geometry there. A coordinate system can be used to find the position of any object from its original place, called origin. So that is intersection of two lines axis makes intersection of two perpendicular lines gives the origin, no, position of origin 0 0 to its present location. We can use that one. And location of air transport, you may see in the planes which are flying in the sky, but uh, might not have thought how actually they reach correct direction or destinations here. Actually, all those air traffic is managed and regulated by using this coordinate system of geometry. These are all some of the applications why we have to study and to study these aeronautics, all those space researches. So we have to know about this one. That's why it is kept in the 10th standard. So actually, in this coordinate system, to understand this practical Cartesian plane, the graph will be divided into four quadrants. Is it? By drawing two perpendicular lines called axes, which are meeting at a point called origin. That first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. You may learn about this one. No, in the first quadrant, the coordinates, that is x coordinate and y coordinates, both are positive. And in the second quadrant, the x ordinate is negative, y ordinate is positive. And in the third quadrant, both x and y coordinates are negative. And in the fourth quadrant, abscissa is positive and ordinate is negative. That is, x coordinate is positive and y ordinate is coordinate is negative. All this everything you know. Let me explain about this coordinate geometry, or somewhat introductory about this plane geometry I am considering here. Plane Cartesian plane. Here the Cartesian plane is a plane with the rectangular coordinate system that associates each point in the plane with a pair of numbers. That means you can see here all these squares represent one unit here. The two perpendicular lines are coordinate axis here, that is x axis and y axis. No, that is two perpendicular lines are coordinate axis. The horizontal line is x axis and the vertical line is the y axis. The coordinate axis divide the plane into four parts here called quadrants, as I told in the last slide. And the point of intersection is the origin, that is O, 0, 0 is the location of origin. The distance of a point from y-axis is its x-ordinate. For example, you can see the point P in the graph. So there 1 represent x-ordinate, x-coordinate, or abscissa we say. And the distance of the point from x-axis is called y-ordinate. That is 4 at the point P. In the point P, 4 represent y-coordinate or ordinate here simply. The point is represented by P of xy. That means together called as coordinates. That is, xy in the bracket represent the coordinate system of that point. The location of P, where is P in the graph? At 1, 4 we can say exactly the location in the first quadrant. Is it? Where is Q? Q is in the second quadrant. What is the position of this Q? We can say definitely as -4, 3 we can say. How about this R? What is the position of R? Where is the point R in the graph? It is in the third quadrant. What is the position of the point R here? It is -2, 4 we can say definitely. So in this way we are going to describe, no? So that is what it will help us to locate the point in the space or in the plane, and identifying the points in the plane or space. The coordinate geometry will help us. Also, we can use this, all these everything are some of the applications of this coordinate system of geometry. So in the 10th standard syllabus, you have to study about the distance between 2 points using distance formula, and midpoint formula is also there. You have to study, and a section formula is there, and we have to calculate the area of a triangle, and informations about rectangles, square, that means quadrilaterals, properties of quadrilaterals. We are going to study in this 10th standard. Let us talk about more in the coming days. Thank you, students.